Sheriff Hilbrecht, do you mind leading us in prayer, please?
Lord Jesus, our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for this gorgeous weather that we're having outside today. God, we just pray for your wisdom and direction on this fiscal court as they lead the community as our civic government. God, we pray for your direction in every decision, and we do what's best for our citizens here in the community. Your hands, your name we pray.
Amen. If everyone would stand with me and join me in the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll call this Marshall County Fiscal Court February 20th, 2024 meeting to order. And first up, under guest, we have North Marshall Middle School Student Council.
We want to welcome North Marshall Middle School Student Council and their leader, Kayla Staley. Their president, Mason Hill, will speak, and so will their vice president, Brooklyn Cunningham. I went to speak with them a week ago, and it was a great audience, and they were very focused and represent a lot of good things in our county. I went through North Marshall. That's probably why they have me read. Roy went to North Marshall. Also, on the end, the road superintendent, and Marty Barrett, I'm sorry. Okay. Roy and I went through it at the same time. So any other North Marshall? Okay. So anyway, we're glad to have you, and we'll just turn it over to you.
Hello, my name is Mason Hill, and I'm the president of the North Marshall Student Council.
Hi, my name is Brooklyn Cunningham. I'm your Student Council Vice President.
We came here today on a trip with the Student Council to see what a meeting with our public fiscal court looks like. We have loved what we have seen so far and can't wait for the rest of the tour. We thank you for letting us come to view your meeting.
Yes, and we'd also like to thank for your time, and we also like to thank Ms. Daly for making this trip possible for us future leaders. She has been an amazing role model for us for the past 3 years as my math teacher and Student Council sponsor. I'm going to miss her very much whenever I go to high school.
Agreed. We would also like to thank Mr. Kevin Spraggs for having us at this meeting. Thank you for opening your doors so that other people can see what it's like for a chief executive of the fiscal court. We would also like to thank all of the fiscal court members here today for the time and patience they have shown us to let us come and view this meeting. We thank you.
Are there any questions you would like to ask us?
So, what you Of course I do.
I was trying to give you an indication what
Let
was
me
about
ask
to
you,
happen.
have you ever watched a fiscal court meeting
No,
online? Okay. All right, that's why they're laughing, because I ask questions, but I'm inquisitive.
Lots of
Are you an inquisitive?
Very much, sir.
Yeah. So do you have anybody have aspirations to do anything in public service, or have you thought about it? No, not there yet?
No, sir.
Okay, high school next year? It'll
Who knows what
it'll
comes.
start then, okay. All right, that's the only question I have, gentlemen and ladies.
He's trying to see if he's going to have an opponent in the next
Yeah.
election.
That's a good point, I hadn't thought about that. You all live in the district.
Do y'all have any questions for anybody here? None?
We're glad you came out, and you're always welcome here. Would anyone else like to say anything or ask any questions, or anybody else have anything?
I think that's a no.
We thank you for having us here.
Thank you all for coming.
You-
Like to get a photo real quick? Next up, Elizabeth Mudd, KLED, talk to us about Southwest One Invest Prep.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you all? Good. Well, thank you for having me here this morning. I am coming to share with you all a little bit about our 2024 TBA Invest Prep Grant application. So as you all know, we have been a recipient of a TBA Invest Prep Grant in the past, in 2022, which is going toward helping with the engineering due diligence and design of the alternate entrance for Southwest 1 Industrial Park, as well as the roads. The engineering for those to be done in order to connect the alternate entrance to Southwest 1 Boulevard. In 2023, we did not apply for a TVA Invest Prep grant since I had been on the job for about a month at that point. So we took 2023 off to kind of work together and see what our next step would be. So for 2024, the grant is due at the end of this month, so I'm currently working on it. But we are looking, after conversations with the Marshall County Industrial Development Authority, my office, as well as Commissioner Collins and Judge Spraggs, on what we thought would be the best thing to apply for. To continue to enhance the park, we are looking at applying for signage, so a permanent sign to go out in front of Southwest 1, and then some new LED lighting that will go down Southwest 1 Boulevard, along with the additional landscaping and irrigation and things like that. So the total for that project is $303,000, $561.30. This grant does require a 50-50 match. So that is partially the reason I'm coming to discuss with you all today, is to ask for that match, which would be a total of $151,780.65. So I think we would have a good chance of receiving this grant. TVA, since we are in the TVA service area, they are always great on the economic development side of things and really do well in supporting local communities in order to help us with our site development. And I just want to thank you all as well. As a fiscal court, you know, there's a lot that don't recognize the importance of economic development and the success and the prosperity that it can play for a community. And so I do want to commend you all on that. All of you have been very supportive since I have been here in supporting KLED as well as the IDA. And I think we have a lot of great things moving forward. We have some great traction in the park right now. I know we had it deemed build ready in this past fall, and I know we've gotten several projects because it was deemed build ready and that we've invested in it so much as we have thus far. So that is my ask to you all today. If you wouldn't mind to please consider that match so we can apply for this grant and continue to work towards enhancing that park and having companies and businesses come into it. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Just to clarify too, that match would not be until the 24-25 budget
Correct,
cycle.
yeah.
So
We would
past July.
Past now, past July. So it would be in your next budget, your 24-25 budget. Yes,
Yeah.
not this current budget cycle. We would know if we were given the award in July of 2024 is when the cycle would end, when they would notify of grant awards to communities.
And I think also, just to clarify, since we've kind of been in discussions too, the other option, I don't think we wouldn't necessarily make sense at this point, which was engineering of the water tank, simply because we don't know yet whether that water tank is gonna be in the budget for the state budget.
We're trying to get that put in the state budget, and
And
what I
if it
submitted,
did, engineering would, I'm sure, be included.
it
in
was
that.
included in what I sent them, the
Yeah,
engineering.
yeah. And I mean, if we don't get it, we can't come up with the $6 million, so we'd just be essentially engineering something that it may take
Can't pay for
10 years, yeah. And so if you can't pay for it, there's no reason to. So I just think it makes sense to do this and see what we come up with.
We have, just on the subject, we'd requested the water tower and a new package plant for Aurora in the state budget, so we're waiting to see on both of those. Keep our fingers crossed.
We'll be up there tomorrow to beg, right?
Absolutely.
And in terms of how the park is, a lot of the TVA Invest Prep grant, it's only towards site development. And so, of course, TVA has a hierarchy of needs in regards to infrastructure and different things like that. But really where we are with Southwest One, we're in a great spot with infrastructure, and all of our utilities are there. It's pretty much ready to go for any company that would like to move in there. So now we're just kind of on the cosmetic side of things. And so I think it would boost the entrance to the park. Everybody always likes going to a place that looks nice every day. I know it would make United Systems happy, and I think we just owe it to ourselves as a community. We put a lot of work and effort into it, and I think it would be great for us to have that entrance looking lovely.
I move that we move forward and allow I guess the IDA to
Yes.
apply for the TVA Invest Prep grant with the assumption that we would come up with, as a fiscal court, that 50% match in next year's budget.
Second.
Motion second. I'd like to have a little bit of discussion on that. Do we want to have a motion to apply for the grant, and then if we're awarded the grant, then come back and vote to accept the grant?
Yeah, I think so. Don't you? Yeah, because plus we wouldn't. So when will it be? When will you find out?
So July, I will tell you this, on the application, it does ask me if the match is already secured or if it is not. So I don't know if that would play into their decision on whether we would it would be awarded to us or not, based if the match has already been committed. But I do have to ansar that question.
You got to
on
budget
the
it
grant.
now then.
I mean, it would essentially be us having to by that time we will have passed the budget and we'd have it in the 24-25 budget.
If we did vote to do it, and if we didn't get it, then it just cancels that out. Use it for something else, yeah.
I have plenty of other things we can use it for.
Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Would you all like a picture with me, or?
See ya.
Under correspondence, January personnel changes. Mr. Pagel?
All right, so our January personnel changes are as follows. Michael Stroud, termed 1/8/24. Russell Wilson, termed 1/16/24. Donald Bowman, termed 1/16/24. That was a contract non-renewal. Devin Evans, Sheriff's Deputy, 1/2/24, hired Devin Evans at $20.16 per hour. Ashley Purvis, another Sheriff's Deputy, effective 1/29/24 at $25.04 an hour. Those are all of our personnel changes from January.
Under old business, approval of the minutes for the February 2nd special called meeting. Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Under new business, grounds policy in the courthouse. Mr. Darnell?
Thank you, Judge. As most of the people here already know this, you folks from North probably don't know this, but this used to be, before we had the judicial building down on Fifth Street across from Collier Funeral Home, McDonald's, this used to be the Marshall's Circuit courtroom. So court cases were tried here. And we have the judges who were once presiding in this courtroom. Their pictures are up here, except for two. If Anita and I are correct, we're missing David Buckingham and Dennis Faust. Those would have been the last two to preside as Marshall Circuit judges in this room. And we had a meeting with the Bar Association last week, and it was brought up that we need to, make the picture complete. And if it's okay with the fiscal court, put their pictures up here because they did serve as circuit judges in this courtroom. We already have pictures of them down at the judicial building, so I'm thinking it should be pretty easy to find out where those pictures came from and just get copies. And there may be some funds available too, through either the Bar Association or library account that we could use to help do that, but I wouldn't think it would be that much.
Whoever's doing that, get the name tags for those two that are missing down there for whatever reason?
Well, this is,
Or is that,
I'm pretty sure, well, Anita is pretty sure that that's Judge Lassiter on the end.
oh, is that why we don't have a name tag?
Well,
We're kind of unsure.
and then I'm thinking that would be John Lovett, between H.H. Lovett and Lassiter, but I don't know for sure.
I just asked Marty to step over here and,
Yeah,
Tell
Marty
us.
would know.
yeah. I mean, it'd be good to have those names.
And then, just for your information, the first two down there at the end, those exact same pictures are in the McCracken County Courthouse Circuit Courtroom, because at one point in time, Marshall and McCracken were in the same circuit. So those same two pictures, the first two, and then it split.
Do you want to put in a motion to get name tags for those missing?
Yes.
Okay.
Allow the other two pictures to be put up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
need
Allow
a
them.
motion to allow the other two to be put up on the wall and name tags to be installed on any of those without, including the two new ones we'll be putting up.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, animal shelter propane tank. We had a unit go out there recently. We're converting that to gas out there to help with the efficiency of operating the shelter. And with that said, there's not natural gas, so we're going to have to purchase a propane tank. Mr. Pagel's been looking diligently for tanks and pricing, and we just need a motion to approve the purchase and installation of a tank not to exceed $6,000. With that said, we're going to continue to try to find a good used tank, and that would be for a 1,000-gallon tank. We may end up with a 500, not sure, but we need to go ahead and kind of move forward on that in the next week or so as they'll be installing the new system.
I'd recommend going with 1,000, just in case you get in a situation in the wintertime where they get run low on. It might take a little longer to get gas. I know they've run into that before, different houses and stuff.
3 units there as well. 2 of them are still electric, and as long as they're not causing us a lot of issues from a service standpoint, they're obviously going to be left in place. So, but we could be, I'm not sure how long it'll be before we convert everything, and when the water heater there goes out, we'll replace it with a tankless also. So need a motion to approve purchase and installation not to exceed $6,000.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Road Department surplus.
We have some chainsaws, that's parts mainly, that we'd like to surplus off, and some blowers.
Where?
Gov deals, or where do you
Yeah,
have
do you even put those?
Sealed bids.
Still bids? Yeah.
Need a motion to surplus the Road Department property via sealed bids.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sheriff's budget, quarterly report, and annual settlement for 2023.
What? Can we go ahead and ask questions?
Sure.
So I cannot, that first page is brutally small type. I'm sure I'm the only one who can't see that, but is that a 2.5 or a 2.343? 2.543 was the, okay. So, and we only budgeted,
I estimated low on my first year because I wanted to be sure I was within it. It was 1.9696. We estimated we would turn over in excess fees. We actually collected 2.543, 125.25, which gave us turnover more than we anticipated, 573,525.25. So we were almost $600,000 more turned in than we anticipated.
All right. So, and commission-wise, so we were 250,000 above, right? Is that what that shows? I'm trying to read those numbers, but like on line 10, second page. Is that right? Regardless, so 500,000 is, I mean, so we'll have to amend in that 500,000, is all that 500,000 hours?
So the way that all of the sheriff's budget stuff goes, since we are fee pooling, is they turn over all of their receipts to us, and we pay for all of their disbursements. So his budget also, remember, covers a calendar year, not a fiscal year. So the first half of this year that he's reporting to you on covered the prior fiscal year. The second half is the first half of our current fiscal year. So if there was ever any excess fees that were turned over for a specific purpose, then Matt would have discussed that with us. We probably would have amended in at that time to cover whatever that excess was. If, for example, he received extra funding from the school district because extra equipment was purchased for school resource officers, we would have amended it in at the time to help cover that purchase in the year that those expenses were made. So as we get towards the end of our fiscal year, if we are over on his pooling and there is a specific purpose, then we will amend it in. If not, since the sheriff is in a fund by itself now, that wasn't this case several years ago, anything that's not amended in would carry over to help fund his next year. It doesn't go back into the, general pool. It stays within the sheriff fund.
I'm glad you knew that.
What was your fees budgeted this fiscal year? Do we know?
Don't have
What was
it
the
written
fees
down.
budgeted for this fiscal year?
I believe it was 2.2, if I remember right.
I know we cut it back a little bit thinking,
So we budgeted to receive in pooling fees $1,484,600 at the beginning of the year. And then we've amended in so far about 5,000.
oh, I got you.
You're asking for the receipt side from him. Was there?
Yeah.
That was what you were asking, Eddie?
I was just talking about the whole
Versus
budget,
the-
like from July to, when we budgeted for last fiscal year, what did we budget for fees that would come in from the sheriff's office?
For the fiscal year 2023
In
or
this
this
fiscal
current?
year, yeah.
That's it. So we
1.4.
budgeted to receive from him as a pooling fees, $1,484,600.
Seems low.
Well, I think that's you're
And
looking at-
we are over it right now. So the actual receipts right now are $1,630,071.61. So we're over by $140,000.
I think that's the like fees. You're talking about the total, right?
Well, if he brought in 2.5 in the calendar year, I would say he'll probably bring close to that in the fiscal year too.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be almost $1 million over. We'll fix that next year. 'Cause that really
No.
straps you down. to
No,
where-
I think we budgeted more than that, right?
I'm looking at the budget.
I know,
For
but
what?
I think we're talking about two different lines though, aren't we?
No, everything that Matt turns over to us comes over in our budget under the pooling line. And so anything he turns over goes there. However, on Matt's budget, I believe that you report all of your revenue, which includes real estate taxes that you have collected for people, but it also goes out, right?
I believe that is correct. To be honest, I'd have to ask Trista.
I'm almost certain that that's the way that it is reported to us. So, excess revenue over his budget might not necessarily always 100% translate to us. It could be that he collected excess real estate taxes. It gets turned over to whatever taxing authority created those tax numbers.
Anybody else? Eric, did you have anything else? Okay. So we need a motion to approve the sheriff's budget, cumulative quarterly report, and annual settlement statement for calendar year 2023.
So move.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have a MOU Crime Stoppers affiliation.
Judge, you want me to speak about that? Well, first, before we get on that, I wanted to say the body armor grant that we had from Homeland Security finally came in, and we were able to pay that back to the court. We appreciate the help on that. Was definitely a great need in our agency, and glad to have that. Moving forward to Crime Stoppers. When I first took office, one of the things I wanted to fix was our Marshall County Crime Stoppers. Chuck Newton used to be the chairman of the board, and he passed away in 2018. Since then, it's really been non-existent. West Kentucky Crime Stoppers is comprised of Paducah Police Department, McCracken County Sheriff's Department, Ballard County, and I believe Graves is also associated with that. So what they're trying to do is just create a regional Crime Stoppers. And they've done that. Paducah Police Department administers that information. And the way they collect that is through an app called 411. People can email tips, they can text tips, they can call in anonymously, and they disseminate that out to the appropriate agency. So it allows us all to pool together, pool our resources, and that information still flows out to the individual agency that needs to receive it. So what I would like to do is sign an MOU with them to basically disband our Marshall County Crime Stoppers and join with them.
I would move to disband and join with Paducah.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Jason, does that need to include to sign that?
Yeah, give him the authority to sign.
I would also move to give the judge authority to sign the MOU.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Benefit Advisory Service Agreement with Peel and Holland. Need a motion to approve?
So move.
Second. Motion second. Discussion?
There was no change in that, was there?
There was an
From last
addition to that, yes,
there?
regarding our 1095 reporting that we do to the federal government for health insurance coverage.
Okay.
That was not agreed on initially, which it, hasn't been required initially. So that's been added to the agreement.
Okay. Cost-wise,
No change in
same?
cost.
Okay.
They're
That's what I was-
agreeing to do
that's
that,
what I was
so the
thinking.
treasurer's office doesn't have the burden of that, so.
Yes, they're doing, so they're agreeing to do the work to create the forms. We will still have the burden of paying for the forms, which is what has happened without it being in the agreement anyway.
So is that the form that is sent out to us year-end?
That has.
Did we
you-
get those this year? by the way? I
They
turned in
have
my
to be,
taxes, but-
they don't have the same timeline as a W-2, so they can be up until, I believe, March 15th, but they've already been submitted to the people who will print and disperse
Okay,
them.
I thought
But it's
I
the
hadn't
thing that has
received it.
you and any person on your health insurance has the months, and it shows what months you were covered and what months you were offered coverage for health insurance.
Yeah. Okay.
So, motion to approve?
Move.
Motion's for second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Training incentive for Commissioner Collins.
Move to approve the training incentive.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Training incentive for county clerk.
So move.
Motion second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 2024-02, budget amendment, first reading. Erica?
Ordinance 2024-02, an ordinance relating to the annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas the County of Marshall has received additional funds Now be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County that Section 1, the annual budget for fiscal year 2023, 2024 is amended to A, increase or decrease the following revenue accounts. Transient tax revenue, $400,000. Animal shelter donation beginning balance, $12,300. Occupational tax beginning balance, $75,000. State reimbursement for the body armor grant, $32,250. Process fees, court rental, $14,810.70, for a total increase of revenue accounts of $534,360.70. B, increase the following expenditure accounts. Transient tax visitors bureau, $400,000. Animal shelter donation, building and maintenance, $12,300. OTA refunds, $75,000. Capital projects broadband, $32,250. Judicial maintenance building and grounds, $14,810.70, for a total increase of expenditure accounts of $534,360.70. Section 2, the amounts added to the revenue expenditure accounts in Section 1 are for governmental purposes, approved by the Marshall County Fiscal Court the 20th day of February 2024. And if there were any questions on that one, for the state reimbursement for the body armor grant, the reason I put that back into capital projects broadband is that's where we borrowed it from a while back, if you remember that. And so we're going to replace it.
Okay, let me clarify. Now, I finally found it. So we decided to break out this year school resource officers. So that one
That's what I
point.
just sent him.
Okay.
Yeah. I was
All
like,
right.
that makes sense now.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, I
I
forgot.
was not on the same page.
I
Yes.
forgot about that. Yeah.
We did, and it
So
was
like the total-
583, 511 was for school
Yeah.
resource officers.
Yeah,
All
that
right.
makes sense now.
All right. Clear.
I thought Hilbert's gonna have all kind of money next year.
No.
He's already ordering
He
something.
was.
I knew that y'all were over there. It's dangerous having the former sheriff and the current sheriff together over there.
Might be trouble.
Yeah. Okay, I move that we approve
I
the, well, it's the first reading. Never mind.
ahead.
Forget it.
Matthew's doing big for a minute. Ain't
I
he?
was doing great,
He was
man.
good for 10 minutes.
Treasurer's report.
That's Lauren, that was good.
The treasurer's report's on the drive. It's for the month ending January, and it is just one for you guys. It doesn't go to the state, and so you just accept it. I will say, now that we've just talked about that, I do not have broken down on there the separation for the sheriff's pooling of school resource officers. So I will go back and do that for the next month, and for February, you'll be able to see the breakdown difference there. Just know it's all together in the one you're going to look at.
Need a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor?
It's good, by the way. I like it. I went through some of it last
You
night.
can see it? Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, like the OTA, and I mean, I'm not
Not complete.
fixing anything, so. Just saying, I'm proud of it.
So far, so good, anyway.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Transfers?
Okay, on our appropriation transfers, we have a few within fund transfers, and there's also a transient tax transfer. It's $28,390.77. Speaking of transient tax transfers, I should have, when I was talking about the budget amendment a second ago, we have been advised by our auditors that we need to bring the transient tax under our fiscal court financial statements. That's why it's part of the budget amendment. So going forward, every year when we budget, we will budget that as well. And it will just look like our transient tax in and one line out where we transfer it to them every month.
They still here? Are they still, the auditor's still here? Yeah.
Can we charge them rent?
I mean, I can't if you give me that directive.
Let's not. I don't know if they can hear us
don't
up
make me
here
do that.
or not, but I say no.
Let's wait till they're done, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send them a bill.
Need a motion to accept the appropriation transfer.
So moved.
Second? Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Bank transfer.
Okay, for the bank transfers, we have a general fund to E911 transfer. That's where we were reimbursed by the 911 grants that we've had out for a couple of years, and that was budgeted in the 911 fund. That's why it needs to be moved over. It came as a direct deposit. And then we have two other transfers that are just deposit corrections, or again, where something was deposited automatically into a fund where it was budgeted somewhere else.
Need a motion for the bank transfer?
Move we approve the bank transfer.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And motion to pay the bills.
Pay the bill.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to go into executive session to discuss land acquisition, personnel, and litigation per KRS 61-810, 1B, C, and F.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. I just need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.